Okay,
Problem.
perfect. We're honored that Sarah Frink is our August Spotlight speaker. Sarah Frink is the CEO and founder of Real Marketing Solutions and a sought-after digital marketing strategist. Sarah and her team consult and run digital marketing strategies for large-scale companies, government agencies, high-level executives, and small business owners. When she's not hashing out game-changing strategies for her clients, Sarah is a frequent conference speaker, podcast guest, and media contributor. Outside of work, Sarah is a mom to two adorable little boys, an adventure enthusiast, and enjoys time outdoors and travel. In Sarah's 20-minute talk, she will share Diversify Your Digital Marketing. Are you struggling to gain exposure for your business online? If you want to break through the noise and stop fighting with the pay-to-play algorithms, it's time to diversify your digital marketing efforts. Join me in welcoming Sarah Frink to share with us today, as I also remind her to start her speaker timer.
Hi, everyone. Oh, it's so nice to see faces again. I have not done a virtual speaking event in a minute. I'm a new mom, as you know, and we are thankfully from the pandemic busier than ever, which has been a blessing. And you know, you never know what's going to happen in these circumstances, so it's been a huge blessing. But a little bit about our company. We are a digital marketing agency. We specifically specialize in mortgage and real estate, but a lot of what I'm going to talk to you about today works with any industry that you are working in. We also work with small businesses, like we said, government agencies as well. And a lot of what we work with our clients on is really not just social media, but your entire digital marketing footprint, and how and having a diversified footprint, especially after we saw 2021 and the nightmare that was 2021, not just for the world, but in an online platform and forum, when a lot of businesses were counting on Facebook and Instagram, and those platforms were flooded with, you know, political and personal conversation. All of the engagement went down, and a lot of businesses felt really held hostage by the algorithm. What do I do? You know, where do I go? What do I do to be able to be seen and get my message out there? And it was really crucial for small businesses. And so we helped a lot of our clients diversify their efforts very quickly in 2021. And I'm going to share a little bit about what that looks like from a marketing perspective. Again, if you're running your own digital marketing, this might not be something you can bite off right away, but it's something to be thinking about as you're working on your plan, maybe for the next year, or what you can integrate on your own, and some areas that you might want to focus on. So I'll start with social media. Obviously, I shared on Facebook and Instagram and some of the struggles that were last year that likely all of you experienced as you are users of the platform. But we also saw some really big opportunities on different platforms. Specifically, you know, LinkedIn had a great opportunity to connect business-wise, because a lot of people hadn't had their eggs in that basket, if you will, or hadn't really been nurturing it. And then 2021 hit and they just didn't know where to go, so they stopped with Facebook and Instagram, and kind of diversified into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great networking platform for business to business. It's a little tricky for business to consumer. If you're business to consumer, you probably know that. But business to business, so I'm a service provider, I provide a service to businesses. I actually get the majority of our client leads and inquiries off of the LinkedIn platform. So if it fits your business model, it could be a great platform for you. We also saw some other platforms pop up that probably some of you may not even know, some of you may have heard of, but TikTok being one of them. Right. I see some smiles. It's probably not what you want me to talk about, and ideally not what I would have been focusing my time on either. But you have to do what you have to do when you're trying to get exposure for your business. So, we actually in mortgage and real estate were able to diversify a lot of our clients over to that platform with unique strategies on what they wanted to accomplish, promoting their, freebies, giveaways, content, promoting a live show on YouTube, things like that have been really beneficial for the TikTok platform. It's also really fun if you like humor, and some people like to just be humorous with their business. And if you have time to learn another platform, um, and let me tell you, it takes a lot of time to learn. I think my first TikTok video took me 8 hours to edit. It is not an intuitive platform, I will tell you that right out of the bat. Um, but if you have time or you have somebody in your office that has the experience or is video friendly, it might be a platform that would work for your business. It is at right now B2B and P2C. My son said I was too old. You're never too old to TikTok. You are never too old. Um, so that is a new platform. And then we saw Instagram do some creative things, copying the TikTok platform, not shocking, with Instagram Reels. And what you'll probably notice if you've done an Instagram Reel, it's similar to a TikTok video. But it will give you your first video that you post, you'll probably get 5,000 views on it. And you'll be like, wow, this is incredible. And then every video after that, you will probably get around 200 to 300 views on, which is still good. When you're talking about the algorithms and you're seeing this decline on Facebook and you're seeing this decline on Instagram in the feed, where do you go? And again, 200 or 300 views now without having to pay for that, and an advertising spend is not a bad, and not a bad viewership, just given the present time with social media. That said, some clients have decided to stay really consistent. I always recommend being consistent, if you've heard me speak before, which some of you have, on the platforms and showing up on each of them. But some of our clients have just decided, I'm not going to fight with it anymore, and I'm going to be there. I'm not going to put all my time into those platforms, but I am going to put some time into diversifying my marketing strategy and my content strategy. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that you might have to diversify. And first being obviously social media. The second being email marketing. Email marketing has, historically been a great way to connect with consumers, with business partners, referral partners, potential leads, prospects. And it's not gone, it's not dead, but there's definitely some email strategies that work better than others. And I'm going to talk about plain text emails. So we got really comfortable over the last probably 5 years with MailChimp and Constant Contact and these nice designed emails that have headers and footers and all of those things in there. And those are really great. However, what happens with those emails is they often get caught in the spam filter and they never make it to the inbox. So when you're looking at how do I effectively email market rate, or you're struggling with an open rate of 2%, that's not what you want. You have to look at the way you're sending your content, what you're putting. So I'm going to give you a couple tips. One being that if you're using a email service provider like Constant Contact, Active Campaign, MailChimp, if any of these ring a bell, you're probably using them. The less graphics that you can have in your email, the better off you are. We used to embed videos into the emails, and now if you can just, hyperlink your text and it links throughout of the email, you're going to have a better opportunity to pass the spam test on most email service providers. This is especially tricky. Our clientele and who we market to often is mortgage and real estate. And normally those servers are really locked down with privacy and protection and spam filters. They're pretty robust security. So if you're marketing to another client or business or entity that has a restrictive server or is really monitoring the content that's coming in, you're never going to get to their inbox if you're using graphics and videos and all of the great things that we're told to do, right? We're normally told, like, make your email really pretty and attractive. Unfortunately, nobody sees it if you do. So plain text format is something I highly recommend if you're in if you're email marketing, and it's really just simplifying the look of your email so it looks as though I took the time to write that email myself to you. And that is a really key way of how to get into the inbox. The second way is to simplify your subject lines and try not to make them super salesy. Try to make them relatable, try to make them more generic so that they don't get caught in the spam filter, because if they're too salesy, they're going to go through spam first. And oftentimes they don't make it out of there. The other avenue of that is text marketing. We've seen text marketing come up. You probably, I don't know, I woke up this morning, I had 3 different text messages from people that don't have my authority to be texting me, but they're texting me. So text marketing has been a huge push as email marketing has gotten a little more saturated. And it's not a bad option, but I'm going to share a couple things with you that you need to know. One is you have to have consent to send a text message to a client or a prospect. They have to opt in for that. Now, you're probably saying, well, I get texts all the time and I didn't opt in for them. And you're right, you probably didn't. And it's absolutely illegal to do that. So although these companies may not get caught doing it, they probably will on some level. They'll probably get fined, they'll be fine. But from a small business standpoint, you can't afford for that to happen. You can't afford for your number to be, you know, a complaint filed against you. So if you don't have consent to text, you cannot text them. So one way to get around this is if you do have an opt-in feature where people give their email and their name for, you know, you're giving a freebie away or you're running a promotion and people are signing up for that. In the form, you can embed a text opt-in from most email service providers, because now most of them integrate in text. And all they have to do is check that box. If you have their phone number, then you now have consent to send text messages. So it's a little more convoluted. The bigger your company is, the more I don't recommend cold texting people that you don't have consent, because it can really become a liability standpoint at some point if you were reported for doing that. So if you're doing it wrong right now, I'm not gonna like slap you on the hand, but I would tell you that it's really not worth the potential fine that can go with it, because it is illegal to text without authorization. So one easy way to do that is if you have a list of contacts and you want to start text marketing to them, you could just send them an email and say, hey, we're going to be texting updates on promotions. We're going to be texting, you know, coupons for you. If you'd like, you can opt in on this email, embed your form in the email, let them opt in, and then you have that consent to text them. The good thing about text marketing, and the really great benefit of text marketing, is it's got a 90% read rate. So when you think about your emails that you're sending, maybe getting 10, 15, 20% on a good day, a 90 to 95% read rate of a text message is huge. And the average person checks their text messages every 3 seconds. Can you believe that? Like 3 seconds is the average time that somebody is unlocking their phone and checking in. So they are on text all day long. So it's a really good way to connect with people if you have the consent to do the connection with them. So you're going to have to be creative in finding a way to get consent, or moving forward, you can always have that opt-in feature on your website, that little box that just that says, by doing this, I'm agreeing to getting text messages from you. And if that box is checked, you're good to go. And then we're going to talk about content creation. So, you know, we're always, if you're doing social media, if you have a website, if you're running a blog, you're always generating content for your business. Now, the way you can make your content go a little bit further is by having an SEO focused content strategy. Now, that does a lot of different things, right? That helps your business online, on Google, that helps you stand out more. It helps your content rank. It helps people that are searching for that content find your content. So an SEO focused strategy is not easy and it takes time to do, but if it's something that you have somebody on your team that can do research, you can do some keyword research and quickly come up with, some topics that are highly searched that you can then optimize your content or optimize your website for, so that you would have some opportunities to start SEOing for those keywords and those key phrases, if you will. So here's an example of that. Like I said, we write content for a lot of different companies, but what we tend to do is, first, our clients that we write content for and we write blogs for and we write emails for, we tend to look at their content strategy from an SEO perspective first. So if these are my themes for the month for content for them, I'm going to create a topic that has some SEO power in it. And then I'm going to create my tips around that. I'm going to create a blog that's optimized for that keyword. And then I'm going to repurpose that content and send it out into email, because I know that if it's got a high search volume, it's likely something your customers, the people you do business with, or your prospects at some point either wanted to know or want to know. So it's good content. So we have a really SEO focused strategy when we're driving content, and really when we're looking at your digital marketing footprint from a holistic overall view. What are we doing with your website that's optimized? Your blog is typically part of your website, but that is a content generating source that is really important for that to be optimized for best performance. And then, that kind of trickles down into your social media strategy. So instead of just creating content on social media and thinking, I'm just going to let it live here, think about the overall picture of all the places that content could live in your digital footprint online. And that's your website, your blog. That might be, doing some stuff on your Google profile. That could be on all your social media platforms. There's a lot of places content can live. And that's why it's really important that the content's optimized and is really what people want to hear about. So that's 20 minutes goes by so fast. Just looking at the time, I'm like, okay, so I got 4 minutes left, and I'm going to talk about the one last thing on here is, looking, and I mentioned looking at your online footprint as a whole, right? And one of the pieces to your online footprint is your online reputation, and that's your reviews and how you solicit and get, what people are saying about you. There's no better way to do business than to have this online resume, if you will, that has reviews of your raving fans and that people can go to gauge your work and if they want to do business with you. Now, those profiles can be Google, that can be Facebook. And then if you're a real estate agent, mortgage professional, or part of any affiliations, networks, or anything like that, sometimes there's profiles through different websites that you can have, and that you can drive people to leave reviews for you. And all of that helps you build your SEO for your name and your company, and then rolls up into building the SEO for your online footprint. Okay. So those are the areas that I really wanted to cover with you today. It's a lot to take in. I know it's, not the easiest thing to be like, oh, start generating SEO content, but it's strategy, right? And it's something to aim for. So if you're not in the position where you can hire a company to help support you, or you maybe are in the position where you have an assistant, these are just some strategies that you might want to focus on this year and or next year in your marketing efforts. And then obviously, if you need help, we're here to help. I will put the link in the chat to our website, and from our website, we have a complimentary consultation button. You can click there and we can jump on a call to review your needs and how we might be able to support your business and help you achieve your marketing goals. 2 minutes. Is there a question? Everybody's muted.
This is Judy. I actually have a question.
Yeah. Hi, Judy.
Nice to meet you. I don't understand what SEO means.
It's search engine optimized. So essentially, it's how Google finds your content to show to somebody else.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Full transparency, this is really, and you can tell, and Sarah is a wealth of information, and she's given us so much, and it's so pertinent to this time, but it's really a teaser, this 20-minute. And so we invite you, and you'll hear more about it a little, later in the program here, as I give some slides, but we invite you to our conversation to connect. I'll tell you, check your calendar for next Wednesday. I hope that still worked for you, Sarah. So
Yeah,
we were going to do it on the 18th, and basically we'll take the content that she gave today and we'll have a conversation about it, and we'll be opening it up to Q&A. So you can get her expert advice on how to really be able to optimize this information at that point. So any takeaways? I always like to end with takeaways. So anything that you heard Sarah share that you want to implement and it was like an epiphany or aha. Darcy, you had your hand up. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway.
Yeah, the plain text email, let's just say I've lightly done that, and you're right, it works because they get it. And so I'm like going to re-implement that again and not
yeah.
try
And Darcy, are you in real estate or mortgage? Is that what you said?
yeah, real estate.
Yeah. So a lot of times what they give you in a CRM is really templated type content, and it usually has the large image in it. And it's just what we've learned is that those images really, like, every additional piece that you add to an email that's not text, like, is a spam alert. So spam alert. So spam alert. So if you keep adding those elements, like a video, so I'm going to have a header and then I'm going to have a video. It's just another thing that it has to get through the spam filter. So it's really important that you pay attention to, if you can just clean it up and not have all of the elements, likely you're going to really notice, like Darcy was saying, a big increase in your open rate.
Excellent. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a huge one because I want to make it look pretty, but if it's not getting in the inbox, then
Right.
Right.
I'm just putting my email in here, or my website in here. So if you guys need anything or want to check out our website, we're actually getting ready to launch a brand new website in like it was supposed to be this week, but those types of projects never happen at the right time. So
Yes,
you'll see this one, but if you go back to it in a week or so, you probably will not see the same website. But there's a button at the top that will allow you to access our calendar and book a call.
beautiful. So one last takeaway. Anybody else want to share something they heard that they either thought was an aha or they're going to implement?
And you have a quick question on the web address that Sarah just put in. So
Okay.
if it's going to become a different URL in the next week or two, will this existing URL point over to the new one so that?
Yeah, it's going to be the same URL.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Chuck.
No, you're fine.
No, I was gonna say the shocker for me, Sarah, is TikTok really?
Yeah.
I mean, I would not even think that would be related to business.
Yeah. It takes a strategy, and it takes it being something that you enjoy to do, because the content takes a long time to create. It's not easy to do, and not all content's going to get engagement if it's not good. But there's a lot of people that, and again, this might be a more millennial based demographic. I'm not going to lie here and say, because it's not it's not a super intuitive platform, which means it's not really easy to learn. But there's some opportunities there. And if somebody can get in and learn it, or if you have somebody that you work with on your team that can get in and learn it. I hate TikTok, but I have somebody on my team that creates TikToks for us, and she's 25 and she loves it, and it doesn't take her 8 hours like it takes me. So, it's just really finding, like, it may not be your niche. And if it's not something that you're interested in doing, I wouldn't do it. But if there is an opportunity in your business and you have somebody that's able to help create that content, if it's not your forte, then I would definitely look at it for sure.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's great insight. So we have permission to do TikTok. You've heard it here.
You have permission.
Right.
What you don't have permission to do is spend any longer than 8 hours. If it takes you more than 8 hours to create your first video, then I would highly advise TikTok is not your platform. Hire somebody that it is their platform.
Yes, great advice. Okay. So I'm going to